Thank you very much, Coddle God. Coddle God, man. He's on point with the predictions. We don't even need analysts. We got both. You lost your microphone, by the way, buddy. There you go.
We're good. We're good. We're definitely good. We're in game 3. Last game of the day. Navi OG. I'm excited.
It's been a long day for the players. Even though they've only played one best of 3 today, you're watching all those other matches. You know you have an important one coming up. You want to stay focused, but you're also trying to prepare for the next day's opponent. They got to get there first, though, gods. Game 3, this is the decider. It all comes down to this. OG Dire side, Navi Radiant. And General will be leading the charge here on his Batrider.
Yeah, we'll see. Not too offensive word planted by the Batrider. He just kind of wants to keep vision of the Enigma in the jungle, not looking to block any of the jungle camps here, which is what's kind of been the trend to a large extent. So I think Navi just decided their level 1 fight doesn't cut it.
The Treant's already scurrying in, the crowd getting revved up as Dendi is back on an old classic here on the Queen of Pain, so we'll try to deal with the Treant Scout, a bit of annoyance early on, trying to get some vision on the lanes here.
I mean, that's going to be, for me, that's the storyline of this game 3. Dendi versus Miracle in the mid lane.
Old guard versus new blood.
Yep. AKMMR versus, well, not AKMMR. But Dendi's got plenty of tricks up his sleeves. He's not going to be intimidated by Miracle's, well, whatever ego, whatever goes with that AKMMR.
I don't know if there is an ego.
There really isn't. That guy is, if there is, very humble.
He keeps it very buttoned. Absolutely. No, it's not a visible one.
So definitely not. It's one of those things where this game, more so than the others, there's not going to be a huge. There'll be some support influence in the mid lane. There's always a little bit, like we talked about, what the Enigma can do, denying a creep. Although it looks like the first deny will happen at bottom, but there's no roamers in the sense like the Earth Spirit, the bounty hunters that we've seen in the previous 2 games. Well, the Earth Spirit specifically. So Sanika are going to be the one disrupting the mid lane though with the IO. And
well, this is the counter to AKMMR because I'm pretty sure Dendi and Suneko combined have more than Miracle, so they're just going to duel it.
Probably, yeah, at least a little bit more.
Miracle, as we found his Achilles heel. Might come at a cost though, so let's look at all the lanes here. It's going to be General on the Batrider off lane. Well, I think what probably his most played hero in the patch along with Void and certainly his most comfortable hero overall, so pretty stable pick they go to. And then looking towards bottom for Navi, they're going to dig around on the Lycan. He's actually had a lot of success with on this patch. I think it's like 8-2 or 10-2 on the Lycan career record, and I'm pretty sure he's won the majority of his games in this patch as well. So,
and this is a game where I feel both offlaners should do fairly well. The Nature's Prophet's already been bullying Artstyle on the Witch Doctor a lot with the train harass. Artstyle has no HP regen left. He's bought sentries as well, so his early game's going to be rough. And top lane, you've got General actually going for a dive on No-Tail. He's got 6 napalm stacks. Oh my god.
Wave of Terror, there's no way up for Big Daddy. And Big Daddy gets taken over the knee of the mighty General.
Boots first Batrider. He knew what his hero can do in this matchup. And a weak lane with a melee hero and a Venge and a jungle Enigma. General punishes.
And they had absolutely no control to punish the Talon either. It was the level 1 Warcry. And only now has the stun been skilled for crit, so
neither player with a stun at level 1. That's not necessarily a misplay, but they should never have. Sven at that point can't allow himself to get stacked up that much on napalm.
So you can see some of the individual mechanics coming to play here with Dendi going for the Shadow Strike, Miracle dodging with the phase shift, and when we've seen this as a pure 1v1 matchup, a lot of the times the Quaps will fake the Shadow Strike to try and bait out the phase shift before they actually throw it, but not able to do it there, so if nothing else, keeps Miracle more on the defensive while it's on cooldown.
The old LD wouldn't have explained it. He would have just given a good old wow there.
No, I disappointed.
Yeah, what happened? I thought we were in 2013 you got LD. I guess that's 2000.
I mean, we can just bring it, I called him Coddle God. He can just do my job. Just bring the soundboard out and, I can could just take a nap here. Lord knows it's getting late.
Oh, he's got help in top lane now.
They're moving in. Suneko on the rotation. The roaming Io. It's been a secret weapon for OG. Well, not so secret anymore, but Navi might be able to turn it against them. They will get the kill. Fairy Fire getting popped. Suneko may go down. It might be a double kill for Crit. That's the punish.
Suddenly level 4 Venge with 1k gold.
Yes. What do you buy? Straight Midas? You buy some boots and a stick for now.
He's the ward buyer. Enigma wants the fast mech for the team, so yeah, he'll just get boots and upgrade. Well, Crew's already upgraded, so.
Really nice patience there by Crit, letting them dive the tower, commit to it before he throws out the stun, so there's no ability to retreat, and at that point, able to find the quick 2 kills.
Yeah, and Fly in the jungle, the one hero we haven't talked about, already level 5, 3.5 minutes in. We're looking at that level 6 at kind of 4.5 minutes pace, and he can then look to kind of fix some of these lanes. Probably see something like an immediate smoke gank. I want to say towards the safe lane, just because they don't have good control. They don't have the ability to actually kind of get the black hole off and Dendi before a blink escape. So the most reliable play is probably to go top, kill Batrider, and try and transition into a tower kill. But we'll see what Fly has in mind. He's already got a smoke on hand.
Yeah, at level 5 now, so having a pretty good time in the jungle, to put it mildly, as we have not even cracked 4 minutes. And it looks like we're going to be seeing Crit's Urn coming out very soon here as well. So, OG off to a nice start. Moon in the bottom lane, hits the level 5 mark, and while what's going on, there's a rotation on mid. Artstyle going for the wraparound Witch Doctor gank. Just boldly struts out. Unfortunately, this kill is going to be tough, as Miracle has already popped to south, so they may need to force out the orb if they're going to go for this. Oh, Dendi says screw it, I'm blinking in. Artstyle will be there to cut him off. He initiates with the heal, follows up with the cast, and Mako looking to dive this. He's tanking the tower. Navi have seen nothing but red here. They desperately want this Miracle kill. Not sure they get it. Artstyle hesitates, turns. The phase shift is going to end up getting him out safely, and they get 3 in the end. Even the Dendi quad brought down. OG just being fed kills now, and it might be a general feed as well. Top lane, he doesn't even get no tell. A 4-for-0 sweep as OG are just served up this game 3 on a silver platter by Navi.
I just heard like a one-man scream behind me, and I turned around and it's no tell. He just gave like a big yeah, we like.
He's louder than the entire audience right now.
The audience did not react at all. They're dead silent, and then you just hear no tell screaming. That was great. Classic Johan, and that was just such great counter initiations. They rotate in the heroes mid lane, and then Moon, recognizing that mid lane's under control, he TP's top to help out the Sven, who's in a lot of trouble from the Batrider. Just great movement coming out from OG. Suddenly, Navi just getting a bit too ambitious there, trying to get too much out of too many lanes at once.
They're smoking. They're wrapping. Fly has the black hole. The max demonic conversions as well. Heavy physical damage to come from OG, and they can honestly easily kill Deyara should they catch him out. He has no vision of this. That is very likely to give up another kill. Deyara, the only hero having a good time for Navi, and not likely to make it out. The profitable coming through. Don't even need the black hole for that kill. Moon arriving as well. They're going to look to cut off some additional heroes as Artstyle, who's desperately scrambling. Throws on Creeper, but no tails there. To cut him off with the pass, gets off the Stormbolt. Another kill, racking them up here for OG, make it 8-3.
Oh, they're not done in the raging jungle. Suneko, okay.
Survive, but I mean, when Crit is diving you like that, you know the game's hard. It looked so good for Navi Gods, but just a few overzealous dives punished, and then the Enigma shows up and says, hey, by the way, we just won the lanes without me. Now it's like you have 2 heroes with that jungle farmer, and Crit's going to find the kill here bottom. We'll end up likely going down to Deyara, but it's a heavy commitment.
That's a big streak. That's 600
already, but it did allow them to secure the tower in the bottom lane. It went to Fly. Navi looking to turn this though. Dendi gets the Fly kill, courtesy of the ultimate. The rest of OG retreating out. So they slow it down a bit, and they do pull themselves back, but still overall the tower down a 3,000 gold lead at under 7 minutes.
How poor is Miracle? Oh my gosh, 14, he's 2 CS a minute, 3rd bottom net worth hero. He's got the least farm on the entire OG team? What is going on this game? He hasn't even died is the crazy thing as well.
He's at least beating the Vengeance CS, but yeah, then you look at the network chart, it's Crit is the carry. At this point, Miracle better start buying the wards himself.
Oh my god, that is probably a first as far as OG is concerned, having Miracle be the least farmed hero on their team at 7.5 minutes in.
Perhaps we've truly come full circle from Miracle carrying all 4 heroes in his backpack to the whole team supporting his wave. And if you look at OG Gods, Mech is coming soon for Fly. Crit at this point has the level 3 wave of terror. They can just walk into the Roche pit, and that's exactly what OG are going to do now. Is there any way for Navi to fight this?
Sonic Wave on cooldown, Shapeshift on cooldown. They'll scatter that with the wolves, I believe, but fighting into this is a big challenge. They've got no blink initiation. They've got none of their big team fight spells. No Death Ward as well. This is almost to me.
You say big challenge, Navi say hell yeah. We want to feel that. They're going to go for it. The cast is going to start bouncing as the Prophet ult splashes through the Roche will drop, and then the side. We don't want to be part of this. They do get the last hit on the Roche and with the wolves, but it's going to cost them as Dayra trapped down in the river will go down. Soneko's going to be next, so it's 2-0 just to get the Roche kill, but not the Aegis snipe.
Should have just let the wolves do their job. They didn't need to put their heroes in such a dangerous position, and
I don't think Navi knows what danger means.
There was just like, I'm looking around at like Navi, like no Sonic Wave, no Shapeshift, no Death Ward, like they have nothing to contest that with. No Blink Dagger on Batrider, like that was just a fight they can't take. And that's pre-mech. Once Fly gets mech, it gets even more difficult to take those fights, so Navi have to really pick and choose their battles wisely because of how ulti-dependent their lineup is and how long the cooldown some of those ultimates have early on in the game. Shapeshift 2 minutes, Sonic Wave 2 minutes, so or longer than 2 minutes. So Navi have to be very, very cautious of how they use those ultimates, because as soon as they do, OG's lineup can just push and break towers incredibly fast with their just pure physical damage coming out from the Eidolons, the Vengeful Spirit, the Nature's Prophet trees. They've got tons of summons to break buildings.
They're sprinting straight to top lane. They want Moon. They want a piece of this Prophet. Firefly's going to set off the blink forward from Denny, gets up the screen, goes for the TP out there. Is a Flame Break available? But Denny says, screw it, man! Blows the ult right as the Flame Break came out. Definitely didn't need that for the kill, but
yeah, I think the communication wasn't quite there. That he was just short of mana for that Flame Break until the last second, so you want to make sure you get that kill. But the problem is now, without Sonic Wave, like Navi's options for the next 2 minutes suddenly become limited. So all in all, I don't really feel like a smoke gank with a Sonic Wave is worth it for a Nature's Prophet at this stage of the game.
It is the most farms hero, so it's at least not committing all that just for support, but
yep.
OG have the mech online, the Black Holes at the ready. Arcstyle gonna find an opening here in the river. He sees opportunity, but Fly's gonna jump in. There's the Black Hole and the two. Wendy on the backside of this one getting caught out. Soneko trapped by the Coil General as well. Silenced up. Like way to follow Arcstyle down from the count. That's 2. Is it gonna be 3? General volley after volley from the conversions. Not enough to finish him off. Flaps away towards the high ground, desperately trying to escape, and it looks like he may just make it up and has no TP scroll. And I think OG scouted that out as they continue chase. He's trying to deny to the neutrals, and that last round of auto attacks will finish him off. But while that's happening, also bottom lane Dayra on the run. His own Wolf going to help block any OG heroes that chase him away. It looks like he will make it out. Did force the TP, but still not close to grabbing the tower there. Navi are having to play their asses off just to avoid hemorrhaging kills.
Yeah. When you look at the net worth chart, it's not like Navi are that under farm. Like their core heroes are kind of all matching up okay. Queen of Pain heavily out farming the puck. Like the 3 of the top 5 net worth heroes all on that Radiant side, but they're just not. They haven't quite reached their core items. So I think the good, like as far as Navi where they stand right now, once they get their core items, they're in a much better position.
The lasso even manages to Flame Break. Miracle General going deep for the double kill. Or nope, not going to be able to retreat. Instead, Miracle heads to the south, but Dayra is there to greet him. And with one more swing of those Wolf Claws, suddenly Navi are right back in this game as OG hunting for Soneko mid, not able to control him.
That's all Navi needed. They were farming all right on all their core heroes. They just hadn't been finding some of those key kills here. Like last time when they commit the smoke gang on a Nature's Prophet, they have to commit, like kind of overcommit to get the kill. This time around, they don't have to commit too much. They get 2 core heroes, and if they can transition into a tower after this, they're going to find themselves in a great position. But I imagine OG will have a thing or two to say about that with these fast respawns.
You know, you've talked about long cooldowns. Black Hole, very long, and Navi don't have that many ways to cancel it, so when it's up, they probably want to be careful, but
I think it's an ulti that OG are less reliant on compared to Navi. They're very reliant on having Sonic Wave to secure kills.
Right.
So from that point of view, the Enigma offers a lot, like with just the mech and everything else that he brings to the table. But I definitely agree. It's something OG want to have when they take like a big on 5v5 clash.
Yeah, I was wondering if Navi would actually push top, but it seems they've decided to take it slow for a little bit, work towards the Orchid coming for Dendi. It looks like a pretty fat, well, not fast, but a Necro 3 en route for Dayra.
Notel going to farm up his first Ancient stack now as well as he pops the God Strength for this, so We'll see OG kind of slow things down, look to just get some farm for themselves. Miracle still doesn't have a blink dagger on puck. 12 minutes in, not too terrible, but he definitely wants to get that sometime in the next minute or two.
Yeah, I think the good thing here for Miracle is hasn't gone for the tread, so he saved a lot of gold to help catch up as far as the blink timing goes. Maybe a bit squishy, but he'll at least have a better chance of getting off a good coil.
And when you've got an Enigma, this hero is very much played like a core hero, so having like one of your actually lane farmers not doing all that well in terms of farm isn't really a concern. So Miracle's lack of farm isn't a concern, even though he's a player you expect to see at the top of the net worth, as long as he can get the blink dagger up and make the big plays that he's kind of known for making. There's plenty of farm and carry potential coming out from heroes like Sven, like the Enigma, that OG are in an okay position.
So we're going to see a deviation here, gods, from the standard Sven build, as No-Tail followed in Miracle's footsteps. I believe he's the only other player I've seen do this in a tier 1 game, is going for the armor build on Sven.
Yep.
On paper, great item for Sven. Does have the mech to help heal him up a bit, and obviously gives you really cost-effective strength, so interesting grab, but generally an item you see when you want to fight more early and often, so perhaps tipping OG's hand is the overall game plan.
Yeah, both him and Miracle, I think seem to just prefer this build compared to most Svens who go for the SMY or like the fast blink BKB, so
we'll see how it plays.
Yeah, to me it's like a slightly, this hero will still effectively do the same thing as if you went for a different build. It just kind of plays out, if I can play it a little bit differently because of the armlet toggles, slightly better like burst damage as well, but you're just a little bit squishier if you're not careful.
Don't want to let that degen affect you too much, but OG grouping up mid, they do have the blink dagger. Meanwhile, Courier getting sniped out by Moon. Nice pick there in the top lane. And he's going to TP away to safety, so with that, Moon grabs his Orchid. That's, meanwhile, Witch Doctor Aetherland's coming out. Ooh, fraud style. So the Sultan gets his first gem. And OG are going to mosey down mid. Can Navi hold this? Do they fight, or is this a split push situation?
Age just expired. It's always hard because you can't rely on the Batrider lasso when there's events there, so you can't just say, okay, Batrider picks one off, then we take the fight from there. You have to have kind of a initiation coordinated with another hero, and outside the Batrider they don't have that kind of secondary initiator unless they can get off like a really good Witch Doctor cast, so...
And they know Crit's just waiting with the swap out as the ARA is going to be scouted top lane. The silence comes out, but not before he's able to pop the shapeshift. Meanwhile, mid lane, they have found that last opportunity. It's from the No-Tail. No-Tail's going to drop from gold, and nothing. Crit couldn't even get close. And they're not done just yet. Look at it go. As Artstar moves forward. Dion even tired. He cannot move on the top lane. But keep your eyes on mid, because Fly might go down as well. That's 3 for Navi all day as they press one. Starting with effectively a quad lane. It's the grab! There's the last hit. Moon's gonna TP himself in, trying to fight Dendy, but Artstyles here doesn't have a cask. No-Tail, Stormbolt. Oh, couldn't get it off in time. Dendy able to TP away. They get away with murder, with tower destruction, and then some. That was a 6,000 gold swing over the past 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, and more than anything, like that sequence of events is just going to really just kind of emotionally tilt you almost if you're OG. You had such a good early game start. You were controlling like all the lanes, picking Navi apart, and suddenly they just get these swing of events where they're getting multiple kills. They punish you in the top lane, the mid lane. They followed up with taking towers objectives. Momentum right now entirely in Navi's court.
You can see OG almost just panicking, had no vision of any sort of gank mid, but they're like, No-Tail, you need to get back, because the last time we were even slightly out of position, we lost 5.
And even for OG, when you see Miracle like go in to try and get that little bit of efficiency out of that play where he wants to nuke down the wave and get out, he slightly misplays it and gets caught and punished. So even kind of the flashy plays that Miracle normally would just get away with and be his kind of bread and butter, not working for OG right now.
Oh, Navi, they're ready for OG's shenanigans at the pit, and this time they could actually probably take a head-on fight. fight if they get the good jump.
Absolutely.
They did send the Wolf into Scout. Roshan has not respawned yet. OG on the smoke. Miracle getting scouted out there. The smoke did break and, well, blinks forward, but already General had blinked back.
And there's Necro 3 for the next fight on Lycan, so his damage output and what he brings to the table is going to be increased.
Yeah, Force Staff up as well on the Bat Rider. And, you know, guards, it's only a level 1 swap. This spell did get a slight buff to the range. I think it was from 650 to 700, I don't know, a year ago at this point, but until you get the Aether Lens, it's tough to reliably cancel the lasso.
Yeah, and Crit wants to be positioned far enough back that someone like Dendy's not going to find him with like a blink Orc initiation, because if you can get Dendy to blink in as the Bat Rider gets a lasso onto the front liner, be it the Sven or the Enigma, the fight goes horribly wrong for OG. And that's where I think Navi, their next kind of really strong fight timing comes with Dendy's BKB, because that just allows them to play a lot more aggressively in these fights and not worried about getting...
They found themselves in No-Tail. There's the lasso. Trying to cut off the heroes that are working to back him up, and now they relocate. No-Tail just caught in the middle of the room. The grapple coming through. They will focus him down. And nothing wrong with that. They also got the puck. It's 2 for nothing. Navi finding the picks. It just feels like it's always OG getting caught by surprise with superior numbers and just running for their lives.
The slightly unfortunate news is that's a very long Roche respawner, so Navi won't be rewarded with a Roche, but they will take the bottom tier 1 tower.
It's coming up very soon. Timing might just be top. OG's for the taking. It's basically a max respawn, I think like 30 seconds off, so General may at least scout it and know that this is coming soon.
Navi, I mean, both teams know it at this point with the max respawn that Roche is up effectively now or sometime in the next 15 seconds, so Dendy, once he pushes this top lane, I think the entire Navi squad will be heading back towards that Roche pit area for what's going to become a bit of a standoff there.
This going to TP away. The big spell that you keep on bringing up, which is on cooldown right now, is the Sonic Wave.
Yes.
80 seconds to go. All cooldowns essentially either ready for OG or will be ready. Then they want to force road.
You want to make sure you burst down that Sven before he gets swapped out or mech'd up to heal him. Or with the mech most likely coming off, you want to be able to have the Sonic Wave as a tool to burst him down. So right now, Navi not wanting to take Roche themselves or force a 5v5. They're just going to keep the Wolf in the Roshan pit to give vision and try and farm up the BKB for Dendy more than anything. If they can have a BKB before that next fight, I think it's going to look very good for them.
Oh, look at this. Saneko, sub 20 minute mech earn bottle arcane boots. Look at me, Crit. I'm the list player now. This is some sick farm. I don't think Crit had his mech at 30 minutes when he played him earlier this series. This has just been a crazy showing from the support.
OG's next move is going to be a smoke to try and take over this Radiant jungle, possibly set down some early wards and try and prep for Roshan, but Navi aren't having any of it. They're just like saying, okay, if you guys are going to try and position yourselves around Roche, we're going to force you back to your own base.
And they are doing so. Digging a rock, carving up the mid lane, the top lane getting heavily pressured, and there's the lasso. The jump goes on to Moon. Navi with a quick pick. Moon silence, counter Orchid, not going to matter. And elsewhere, they've tried to make the move on the Digging Rock, but he's popped the ultimate. Trap the Necro 3. Even if he goes down, he'll still dish out a lot of damage throughout this fight. Control over now. Silence like the crap out of It's Dendy from the side. Slap that 3. With the cast goes going. No-Tail's next. Dish back to the row. 3 dead. Navi. His support play in that snowballing this one. The cast came as Fly was going to block hold the shapeshifted Lycan, and Lycan's in this terrible position, then he gets relocated out. So both Artstyle and Saneko made some huge plays there to keep the Lycan alive, and then Dendy just comes in for the cleanup. Great Sonic Wave. Their shot calling is just so confident from Navi. At times it's been too confident this series, and it's cost them, but it's very interesting to see how they, even though they have those overcommitments when they give up kills, the response is we might pause for a moment, but when we go, we're going. They dive top, they're ready to gank in mid. I mean, this team is all over the place, and it's working, gods. Navi going to collect the Aegis now, and OG are going to have to settle this game down. They're down about 10k gold, 7.5k experience. Miracle having a terrible time of it. One of the
has got to be the worst game I've ever seen him play.
He's struggling. And
it's more like worst game as far as how much he's being shut down. Not as far as he's made a few misplays. The one in mid lane where he kind of overextended a little bit, trying to just clear it away. But more than anything, this is the best job I've ever seen a team do at dealing with Miracle.
And it's a puck as well. It's not like a weaker laning here that needs that much help. Generally, puck can get by even against the dual lane. And Miracle's Blink Dagger timing was okay, all things considered, but he just hasn't been able to take over the game the way we saw when he played puck earlier this series.
Yep. So now they've got so many options available to them. The BKB on Quap has an initiating tool to go with the Batrider. Then they've got the global presence from the relocate, so they don't even have to group up as 5. They can kind of be more efficient, farm the map, have 2 or 3 heroes go smoking, and then back it up with a relocate. They can push with 2 or 3. Navi have plenty of options available to them, and with not just the one BKB on Denny, probably a second and third coming soon on Batrider and Lycan, OG's ability to take team fights is going to be very limited.
The siege ramps up in the bottom lane. Glyph available for the Dire, but they're going to hold that in case Navi attempt a high ground breach. For now, General aggressively moving on mid. Does have the ward to set up a potential lasso. Not going to find a target to lock onto. Will recognize that someone from OG was just farming the woods, and for OG, it was a bit of counter pressure. They pushed in the top lane, but Navi's still holding on to all their tier 2s. Whereas for OG, not a tier 2 stands. Map control is heavily going Navi's way, and gods, look at this. A Solar Crest on Lycan, not a common pickup, but an item you want if you're trying to break the base early.
And Sven, without BKB, won't have a way to get rid of this. You almost want to use this offensively on the Sven because he's not always going to be attacking you. He's going to try like maybe attack a creep wave so he can do as much cleave damage as possible. But by putting the Solar Crest onto the Sven, he gets that mischance, and he's going to probably struggle to deal as much damage as he'd like to in a fight because of that.
And then looking at OG, they have decent damage from their other heroes, but with the amount of farm they've got, it is the Sven show. If they can control No-Tail, OG are going to have a hard time bursting these BKB heroes down. Dendy now with a plate mail up. Lycan just naturally tanky.
Have to make sure they try and save the stun for the black hole, which they are kind of. This line does not have a whole lot of lockdown outside of the Witch Doctor cast and the
He's found a target again. It's Miracle Mid, is able to orb himself away. Good reactions there. He will get out.
Level 1 phase shifts at this stage of the game.
He's really struggling in the level progression.
I mean, you can just see, like, where Moon's farming on the map is one of those, like, desperation plays. Just, do cliff jungle on the other side of the map, knowing that Navi have complete map control and are trying to apply pressure. So you just feel a little bit safer on the enemy side, but it really just shows the kind of desperate position OG are in.
And this is before the BKB comes out on the Batrider. Not all that far off.
Only 2 minutes left on this Aegis though, so if Navi want to go for a high ground push, it's got to happen very soon. I'm not sure they're going to be able to... I think what Navi have probably learned after the game 1 where they had that one bad fight and losing game 2 is that take things slow. We're in a good position. Even if we don't even attempt a high ground siege with this Aegis, we're still the ones with map control who are going to out-farm OG right now, so...
They are going to go. There's the lasso. Insta-swap out to cancel, but now Crit's found himself in the Vinci part. Then sacrifices her life. But again, still a kill. And Navi, on the back of that, may actually try to breach the base.
Oh, yeah, at least get some chip damage out. Greaves popped by the Io, but it means Io isn't here because of the relocate, so...
This was a dangerous area to group up, though. You got to be careful against the Sven.
Yeah, they'll try and chip at the tower, but I think Navi know this push is over. Shapeshift is ended. They probably even recognize that this Aegis is going to be gone at this point, but...
And Enigma now has a BKB, so there is only a lasso to cancel a black hole.
He's almost like the ideal lasso target, but that's where the Venge has to swap save him, and then he just goes back in with the black hole. So very hard to avoid, like Lycan in the front lines getting black hole. I think the game plan for Navi is to just accept that someone like Lycan in the front lines is going to get black hole, but don't allow him to get 2 or 3 heroes from black hole and use the relocate to save the Lycan. We saw it in the last fight around that mid lane where a well-timed relocate coming out from Sneeko can save someone's life who's inside that black hole.
OG, very defensive posture. They're going to risk a fly journey here towards the bottom lane. Just wants to bring out some Eidolons, looks like. The rest of OG hugging the base, and this is not great news for the Sven of No-Tail Gods, who is getting heavily out CS. 70 CS down on the enemy Quap, even 30 down on a Lycan. Normally with the Dominator Ancient stacks, you'll be ahead of anything at this point, but hold that thought, bottom lane, they found out Moon has no TP, has no teleport for 1 second, and that is 1 second too long. Just melts to the soul burn. Navi, you leave your base, you're gonna pay.
It just feels like Navi are happy to probably spend the next, well, Roshan in 4 minutes, probably the next 4 or 5 minutes of this game just keep looking for pickoffs. They don't really care about 5v5 fighting. If a fight comes their way, they'll probably try and take it, but it's OG you have to play grouped up, which is not an efficient way to farm your way back into this game, but their only real option is to group up, go for a smoke play, and they're actually doing this while Prophet's dead. Perhaps trying to use the fact that Prophet's dead to catch Navi by surprise, split up with relocate on cooldown, so they can't actually back up whoever gets ganked.
General wrapping around mid now, his BKB, very close. May run into Miracle. We're gonna see, Invis has the Blink Lasso. Oh, the Miracle able to orb out.
Miracle's just like, what's going on here? He was smoked, and if anything, he was like trying to. Well, I guess he doesn't have any teammates nearby. That was a kind of an odd smoke in the end by OG, who didn't remain grouped up, trying to find a pick-off. But
yeah, they didn't get a ward down, or I guess they did some de-warding, but that's really about it.
Moon's back to his cliff.
Yeah. I want to point out, they not only dropped 2 Observer's Gods, and then he goes the next level and even gets the Sentry up here, just to ensure that nobody will gank him when he's cliff juggling.
That might actually, that's in the neighborhood. Okay, TP out just in time.
Going back away.
The General scouts it like a split second too late.
Looks like we had
I sort of like a slight tower surge here. Yeah, we'll get things back online soon, guys.
Things were flickering, but game is paused, so good time for it to happen, I suppose.
And for OG, it's like, step back, take a breath, think about how this game around.
At the same time, it's also, you're on enemy turf. The crowd just took this opportunity to start chanting Navi. Not hearing a peep out of No-Tail right now.
Yeah.
The game's got to be incredibly frustrating, so we'll see if OG can collect themselves.
I mean, something the panel even pointed out was that OG just looked physically drained and tired as they were going into this Game 3. It's been a long day. You're playing that last match of today. You go the distance. Both Game 1 specifically was quite a long, drawn-out match. So for these two teams, and perhaps more so it seems OG, fatigue is kind of kicking in. They're not making all like the kind of refined plays that we're used to sometimes seeing from them.
What is the best way back into this game? Are they relying on a giant team fight? Should they just be trying to keep away and farm? Are they just waiting for Navi to push and hope for a mistake? Like, if you're in the OG camp right now, what are you telling your team?
It's a little reactionary because it does depend on what Navi do, because Navi have a few options. Like, Navi are going to look to take Roshan, so option number 1 is you try and contest Roshan using that big team fight of yours from the Enigma with the BKB Black Hole, which is hard to counter. Then there's the option where if Navi group up for a push, you're looking to use your high ground defense. I think that's probably one of the worst, the weaker options for Navi. I think Navi's best option is to find pickoffs. So OG have to try and play around the fact that Navi are going to be aggressively looking for pickoffs using like a solo Batrider with a relocate follow-up, and try and predict and use a hero like the Puck as bait, and then turn around the relocate in. If Enigma's like there, smoked up, ready, Enigma farming a Blink Dagger could be really big because it means he can be sitting behind either the Sven or the Puck, and when they get caught out, you have a Blink Black Hole waiting on like the relocate in, and try and counter-initiate Navi's gank attempts. You can't really expect Navi just to group up as 5 and push and play into your big team fight. You've got to kind of predict Navi's movements moving forward.
Yeah, I guess along with that, it's going to be tough to keep wards up, which would be nice. Be up against a Batrider with a gem, about to be a BKB, so basically no kill potential unless they like swap him into a black hole or Enigma gets a blink, which is still a ways off here for Fly.
And with BKBs coming on Batrider, and probably Lycan could go BKB, could go AC, the nuke damage, the control from the OG side just doesn't do as much. So it's entirely like the black hole with the Sven damage output that really comes the killing potential out of the OG squad. So they've got to land the black hole and have Sven there ready to follow it up. Speaking of Sven, I think he still just needs a BKB this game. Like fighting into, Batrider and Lasso goes through the BKB, but you need a way to deal with Napalm, Flame Break, all these other annoying spells of his. The Witch Doctor cast has been huge for Navi in every single team fight, so BKB becomes essential for No-Tail.
Even just the tether slow is a huge pain in the butt for Sven, so.
The thing is, you can't approach it like BKB and be like, oh, there's too many spells that go through it. You approach it like, how many spells are there that don't go through it? And if there's enough, you get BKB regardless. Like, you can be against a Beastmaster, a Batrider, and Enigma and still have to get a BKB just because of the number of spells like Malefice, Flame Break, Sticky Napalm, etc. that force you into a BKB.
So, well, with that, 4 OG members have reconnected. Crit, the last one, back into the server. So I believe we'll be getting ready here soon. Can see OG collecting themselves. In a way, this could prove to be a bit of a blessing, I guess. Calm down. The way the game was developing, I felt like it was just spiraling out of control for OG, but this might be a chance for them to kind of get their head straight.
Yes, absolutely. They're not really talking too much now. It looks like they're just trying to get some of their settings and technical stuff fixed, which is probably, I guess, priority number 1 to make sure everything's working before you get things back underway. But yeah, just having a breather, able to try and compose yourself as you go into kind of like the second stage of this game now after this pause. And it does affect both teams. For Navi, it's a time for them to kind of game plan, because when you're the ones in control, you kind of set the tempo and decide what's going to happen next, and OG are going to have to react to that. So Navi can kind of decide strategically what they want to be doing next, what the general game plan is going to be, and you can kind of see them here just kind of talking a little bit here and there, probably just saying what their next moves are going to be, what items they're going to wait for, what their timing windows are going to be, like the next ages, what item, whether we're going to have like a triple BKB then, does Lycan go for the AC, they can even kind of discuss as a team like what's going to be the ideal kind of setup for the next fight. The Aghanim Scepter coming soon on Witch Doctor as well, so there's a lot of big items coming Navi's way, and that's just going to make life on the OG camp a lot trickier.
Yeah, so speaking of those items, art style, the Ags coming soon, as you mentioned, at least a double BKB with an option for a Lycan to grab one. Yeah, likely en route. Could very well be the AC too, but those do seem to be the most likely two choices. And beyond that, it feels like Navi can attempt a base breach, but they just want to make sure the big ultimates are on cooldown, or you have a pick, and then you'll likely go.
Yeah, I feel like Navi are going to play things in a very cautious manner now. Bare minimum waiting out for the next Roshan, and that's, I think, maybe going to be a timing for OG to try and strike. The problem is they're not going to have something like a no-tail BKB for it.
And 1 second on the TP. This is bold.
And they don't know he's there. He's not attacking any of the neutral camps at least, so.
We're going to see a Puck Ags come out. A good counter to the BKBs, potentially, I suppose.
Definitely.
Assuming you get that coil down before they pop them.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best item you could expect out of the Puck at this point. Sheepstick, the other one which you maybe want to consider to try and initiate. The thing is, OG are never initiating fights at this point. They're always reacting, and that's where Hex is just never going to be as good, because Hex is kind of like the BKB counter, so if you're the team who's winning or initiating, but in OG's position, they're going to have to react and respond, and that's where just having these more defensive items is going to be a much better way to play things.
Navi parking back a bit in their own jungle are going to go for a smoke egg. They have to show dig around the mid lane. The rest of OG on the other side of the map, about as far back as you can possibly get without being in your base. They're going to creep out here.
He lingers around mid lane to try and offer that relocate threat as well.
So basically 5 heroes for Navi in the Roche pit or headed there immediately. With no tail up in front on the high ground. Doesn't have a swap behind him, but General's starting to close the gap. Looking for that lasso opportunity. He's got the vision, he's got the BKB, and he's going to go right in. Lasso does get canceled there, and now probably looking to turn with the Death Lord's going to zone fly back. General just goes straight in on this. The Black Hole's still available. Turns and gets it all rounded to Saneko with the relocate out, though. It looks like it got canceled. Then you get a turn, though. Tanks is like, the BKB comes out. Rocket over the top. Slams fly low. Looks like he'll be finishing off soon, and they start running roughshod over the rest of OG. Can Moon make it out? No, apparently he does. 4 out of 5 down. 0 casualties for Navi. Nearly critical blows there, Joe.
OG managed to even disengage away from the lasso, away from the Death Ward, and then they're like, okay, Death Ward and lasso's been wasted, let's try and fight, but Navi's armor damage just kicks in all of a sudden like this super farm Lycan. The Queen of Pain with Sonic Wave and like Shivers, Orchid, BKB, tons of items on Dendi, just overwhelms OG at that point, despite them not having some of those what in theory are key ultimates. This doesn't matter.
Well, it's in times like these where Moon, he retreats to his sanctuary and he clicks on the cliff.
Yep. Is his little hiding spot. Unfortunately,
he might need some meditation, but Navi are not going to give him time for it. They're beating a straight path down the mid lane.
The Navi discipline kicking in once more, though. They are not going to overextend, LD.
Can you repeat that sentence, please, slowly?
The Navi discipline, LD. It exists. It's
Navi
there.
discipline. Whew. Phrases I thought I'd never hear anyone say, but honestly, they have been more disciplined as the series goes along.
This is a team that's learned a lot and growing from where they've been since like the puppy Kuro departure. They've been kind of a lost team for a while, but it feels like they're finally finding themselves.
The Wolves, you know, we don't see much like it anymore, and I think it's something that's very easy to get rusty on as a pro, but those Wolves scouting out the smoke gank are going to make life really tough here for OG. Yeah. And with this smoke likely to fail, it seems Navi will have a clean take of the Roche.
It's one of those heroes you just kind of have to buy a gem against, as much as it's like, oh, you don't really think of Lycan as like an invis hero or like a hero you need like D-ward against and stuff, but the Lycan Wolf scouting out any movements is a huge deal in the mid to late game stage of the game, and the problem is OG just don't really have the money to afford a gem at this stage.
Your smoke failed, we'll show you how it's done. So Navi on the prowl, aggressively strutting forward, and they're going to find a pick here. It looks like Moon caught out. Dendi's quick to pursue, and they will run him low, burn him down, finish him off. The Prophet's out for the count, and now Navi. A clean path to the Roshan awaits them if they want to take it, and well, discipline, gods, you said it. They're going to take it slow, take it easy, and get that Aegis.
Aegis and cheese this time as well, so put one on to Dicho, the other probably onto Dendi. Depending on item slots, so Dendi, well, yeah, both of them would just have to drop a TP, which at this stage is, I think it's okay. There's a Nature's Prophet who's not even really, there's relocate, so Nature's Prophet is never split pushing. I think those two carries not having having a TP is not an issue.
There's a buyback on this Nature's Prophet. Oh gee, looks like they want to go all in on this Roche fight. A loss here with the buyback is likely the game. They are going to commit into it. No-Tail charging forward. He went for the moon charge. There's the death board though. It's bursting. No-Tail out. He needs some help. He needs it soon. Looks like he's the map into his sense and upstraight. Who crushes him? 4-0 again. Navi had pretty much sealed the deal with that fight. The hallowed one. I think it's time. Moon is to visit an old friend.
Yep. Your hiding spot's calling you, Moon.
He's not gonna visit it. There's no peace to be found on that cliff. Back to the jungle instead.
That meditation didn't work. Time to find somewhere else.
More remote. Deeper in the jungle. Some creeps in a more close-up fashion. But Navi, they look for structures here, and they look for the 2-1. They're gonna march down mid. OG. They have a black hole, they have the BKB gods. But how are they gonna execute the fight? It just seems like Navi is such an easy time dodging it, disengaging, or just straight up counterplay.
Sven has a moonshot, but again, no BKB. It was the Maledict that did a ton of damage to him in that last fight, so not having a BKB to go with his current items is a big problem, because even if Fly can manage to land a decent black hole, you kill 1 or 2 heroes, Sen is always going to die in the follow-up engagement. Doesn't have a blink for any mobility, doesn't have a BKB for staying alive, and more items. Hex, AC. This is just looking almost impossible for OG at this point.
OG have just repaired their bicycles, and Navi have bought a pack of Ferraris and Lamborghinis, and they're charging in. Straight on the crit, they get the Hex off of Fly, keeping the Enigma out of the picture, and they start rallying OG! Look at the map! Crits down through the count. Navi surging forward, they can sense the 2-1, and they want to take it right here, right now, onto the top lane. They go, creeps might be at their base in that lane, but they've got them in the mid, and they push forward. That's 2 lanes of Rex. Could be the throne, or could be the Megas.
OG won't They've got the blink on Enigma.
It's got to be perfect, guys.
Sven though, I just don't think they can do it without the Sven.
And even when he comes back, there's no God strength for another 20.
And they're going to be Mega Creeps before that.
In general, he's too fast for this anyway. He scouts it out, and OG, they throw in the towel. Navi have done it. The Frankfurt Major champions have been knocked down the world bracket 2-1 in very definitive fashion. They're on their feet, high fives all around. Navi, can you feel it?
This is just Navi and Starlighter. Navi and Kiev. It's just everything like clicks when this team plays here at this land, at this venue, and we're seeing it again. It's not just about the